Good morning, everyone. People are here. Okay, it's working. YouTube. Now I'm looking at an infinity screen. I don't know what the hell is happening with anything anymore. Hold on, let's see if I can fix that. Nope, that doesn't do it. That doesn't do it. How about this? Oh, there we go. Good enough. Good morning, Deidre. Good morning, Kimchi. I don't know whether I can go live on YouTube because the software keeps telling me I can't go live on YouTube. And I finally got a response from YouTube on Twitter. For those of you who have no idea what's going on, welcome to my world. I am your KevinlyFather, Kevin Williams. And folks, I've missed you. I haven't broadcast in like a week. I had something called diverticulitis, which sounds really cool. It's when you submerge too quickly, and then you also come up too quickly. You're diving for, let's say, I don't know, lobster, and then you get swallowed by a whale. That's how you get diverticulitis. It's quite painful, but it makes for a good story. This is not a pill for diverticulitis. I'm taking a little antihistamine, so I'll be asleep in 5 minutes, because I get eaten alive by the bugs. This is Spilling Covfefe. We have no agenda here. This is just, I woke up early this morning. I've been ruminating, and I thought, you know what? I should broadcast, because I haven't seen you guys in a while. And just to kind of get things going here this morning, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll probably take a look at a little Fox and or Friends. And what else is there? State of the Union is there. Is Fox News Sunday on yet? I think it is. Hold on. Yeah, Fox News Sunday is going as well. We'll see who's out there. Sunday mornings with Maria Bartiromo or whatever it's called. That doesn't come on for me now with Sling until... By the way, a lot of people are thinking about cutting the cord. Sling is an option. YouTube TV is an option. I was going to do a comparison video between should you get Hulu TV or Hulu Live or whatever they call it, or YouTube TV or Sling. And Sling is significantly cheaper than YouTube TV, especially since YouTube TV just jumped the price up by, I think, $10 a month or whatever it is. Here's the thing. YouTube TV has more features, and you can have up to 6 separate accounts, and everybody can have their own account and record their own shows. It's unlimited recording. So that's all the good things about YouTube TV. But on the other hand, Sling TV can be significantly cheaper, but it's terrible. Do not get Sling TV. And Sling TV, if you're watching, I'll be happy to share my findings with you. But it is just brutally bad. Now, my friend Lindsay... Lindsay, they have Sling TV, and they seem to be satisfied with it, but I think they're only using it on one device, like maybe their Apple TV or whatever. Anyway, that's enough about Sling TV. I cannot recommend it. Way, way too glitchy. And I never know what I'm recording or not, which is why you can see here right now, the men's final of tennis is recording right now at Roland Garros at the French Open. I'm never sure when I turn it on, A, which episode I'm going to see, and B, if it's really recording or not. Because, first off, they started like at 4 in the morning or something, right? Because it's in French. And over in Frenchland, they watch sports early in the morning. It's ridiculous. I don't know. They get up like at apparently 1:30 in the morning, and they start watching netsing, or tennis for you Americans. They start watching their sports at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't get it. That's got to cost a lot of money for electricity. Well, we're not going to discuss the tennis. I don't think it's over yet. I don't want to know who won. Looks like producer Joanna is also going to be watching it. So let's not discuss the tennis. Producer Joanna, it's like 6:30 in the morning. Go back to sleep. And anybody else who's watching from the West Coast, go back to sleep. And if Marcy tunes in from Hawaii, okay. I'm never sure with Hawaiian time. Sometimes they're 2 hours behind, And sometimes they're 6 hours ahead, if I'm remembering correctly. Let's just dive right in. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss? Because we can do that. I've got like this much coffee left. So we'll spill some Covfefe as we go here. Let's just see. More and more now. There used to be some Republicans who would go on State of the Union on the CNN. It's been a while. There are some Republicans, usually a senator or two, who will still go on Fox News Sunday. So maybe we'll check that out. And of course, we need to get our morning outrage, especially on a Sunday morning. So we should probably check in with Fox and Friends to see what happened. I never know what we're outraged about until I watch the first couple of minutes of Fox and Friends. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. The government is buying Kamala Harris's books and giving it to the refugee kids. So angry. So angry about it. Let's get angry, kids. Let's get together and let's get angry. Oh, I can create a watch party. So you guys can watch too if you want. That's one thing Hulu has that I will never use. It's a watch party. I don't know. Apparently, that's not Hulu. This is Sling. Sling lets you have a watch party with your friends 3 times. I don't have 3 friends. Really, Deidre is probably my only friend when it comes right down to it. So I could watch something with Deidre 3 times. It might be the same thing, it might not. Now, here's the thing about the Sling TV. That would be appealing to me. I'd be like, hey, Deidre, let's watch something. And she'd be like, yeah, let's watch something. And then, well, what should we watch? The thing is, I would never know if we were capable of actually watching the thing we wanted to watch or not because it's Sling, and I don't know if it's there. Deidre, let's watch some Fox and Friends. Let's see if it's. This is experimental. It says there's a Fox and Friends from today. Let's see what happens when we actually click watch. If we actually get looking good so far. And okay, that's the end of Water's World. We don't want that. And it looks like we have it.
It is Sunday, June 13th, Year of Our Lord 2021.
This is exciting. Year of Our Lord 2021. That is correct. That's the only ding the judges are going to get. By the way, I'm really sorry for getting you guys up this early. What are you? Hold on. One of them is saying, aren't I your friend? I was like, yes, you are my friend. No, they're shaking. They don't want to be. Okay. All right. Good morning, 0766-321-4879. So good to see you. We were just talking about you. Like, has anyone seen 879 lately? I'm like, well, I'm not on like a... I don't know how... I don't know where to go with that, because I was going to say, like, first number basis. Like a first name basis. But I should have just said 0, because I read the last 3 numbers of their Social Security number. Here we go. Let's see what we're outraged about today.
Fox and Friends weekend we're still celebrating Rachel Campbell stuff.
We're gonna do this for a month.
Hold on. You guys can't see that, can you? All right, so it doesn't actually want to broadcast. Hold on, but you guys can see the previous screen, right? You can see my okay. We have to switch things around a little bit here, kids. Hold on. Nope, that's an audio editor. You don't want that. You guys want to do some voiceover work right now? We can do that. Hold on a second. Let me get my kitty porn out of the way, and we will just go. I'll have to sign in over here. I don't remember my sign in. Let's see if I can sign if I can remember it, and then we will watch that. So I guess Chrome is no longer allowing. This is what you're looking at, this black screen right now. I can see people sitting here on a couch, and you can't. So hold on. I appreciate your indulgence and patience and all that. How's everybody else doing? What are people doing on this Sunday morning? And I will sign us in so that we can share this. By the way, if you're wondering, how can you do this? It's fair use. So we are creating a public conversation, basically a public square, a town hall, if you will, or if you won't. And we are taking a look at political events of the day, and we provide commentary and analysis and fact-checking and all that other stuff. So that's called fair use, and that's why we can do what we do here. Does anybody know my Sling password? I'm going to take a shot at it. That's not it. Let me take another shot at it. And, oh! I got my password on the second try. I don't want to say that I'm the greatest human being in history. Okay, let's take a look at this. We're using Firefox, by the way. Firefox usually doesn't block things. Firefox is actually a really good browser, just in case you're out there looking for browsers. Introducing Sling Watch Party. Watch TV together with friends and family while video chatting. Oh, so you can actually video chat. We should try that. We should give that a shot at some point. I have Sling for 2 or 3 more days. So maybe 2 days. So maybe we'll try that out. One of the reasons I went to Sling is because they have the tennis channel and YouTube TV stopped with the tennis channel. They don't have the tennis channel anymore. But the US Open ends this morning. So it might be over already. I don't know. So I don't think I have to be nailed to Sling TV. And I'll stay away from it until Wimbledon. I don't know. We'll take a look. Hold on. Guests can join 3 watch parties for free. So host a watch party for up to 4 people, including me. So that's me, Kimchi, Chuck, and Deidre. You guys can all be part of my watch party. Okay, got it. All right, now let's see if we can actually get something to work. Here we go. Fox and Friends. Cross your legs, everybody. Let's see if this actually works.
Yeah, we're one of those for a whole week.
Okay. You guys can see it. I can see it. Let me know if there's volume or if you can't. Thank you, Kimchi. Oh, you're doing landscaping, waiting for relatives to help landscaping, so they're going to come over and help you out, or do you live with all your relatives? I do. You know what I miss my son. I do. My son lives 1,000 miles away. Literally. It's actually 1,100 miles away, but let's not. I'm live on YouTube now. Thank you, Caroline. Awesome. Yeah, we are live, and it didn't. I wasn't sure if we were going to be live or not. That's another story. We'll deal with that later. It's too early. I did not sleep much last night, folks. I'm fine. I'm much better than I was. Again, if you're just joining us, I apologize. I haven't been well this last week. I got swallowed by a whale. I'm better now, as you can see. I'm no longer in the whale. Let's see what we're at. Oh, we're looking at Fox and Friends this morning to find out what we're outraged about. Because I don't feel outraged about anything right now. I feel what am I outraged about? I don't know. We should be outraged about the DOJ investigating members of Congress for leaks, including 73 emails and 29 different emails and 73 phone numbers and 75 graffiti. I'm not remonetized. No, I'm not making money off YouTube. And I'm not going to ask anyone for money right now. Don't send any money to these things because this is not worth any money. What I'm doing right now, there's no planning to this. This is just you guys and me guys, and we're spilling some Covfefe. Let's see what we're outraged about.
So
You're not, are you?
No, my household, it barely.
Hold on, let me turn that up for you. I'm going to turn it up for me as well. Different browser, so the settings need to be different as well. One moment, please. I appreciate your indulgences. Can I turn it up for me? I can.
Registers.
Oh, it was your birthday?
we're laughing about something. I don't know what.
Yep.
Nice.
My wife likes to do like birthday month. I'm like, that is not happening.
No, there is a birthday month. Right off the bat, Pete Hegseth. There's a birthday month. By the way, it's just called birth month. August is my birth month. And yes, you can celebrate your birthday the entire... There are times when I've had birth years. Like my birthday is this year. We're going to celebrate this entire year as my birth year. So that's fine. That's nothing wrong with that. You can't just make up rules like that. There are birth months. Happy birth month to everybody who was born in June.
Not even close. And by the way, this 6 a.m. hour is unofficially brought to you by Perk 20.
What
which
is that?
Is a
It's caffeinated water, I bet.
Caffeinated regular water
Ugh.
that was given to
If it's caffeinated regular water, it's not regular water.
Will at our diner on Friday by one of our viewers.
Great.
100.
Oh, they were at a diner. I bet they were talking to people who still support President Trump and his policy. I enjoy the diner segments, but I don't like watching the diner segments in the morning because I have not eaten anything yet. And those diner segments, I'm sorry, but you bring out some slabs of bacon on top of those runny eggs? Yes. So I used to have a friend called Ray Ray, and her and I were on a Eggs Benedict quest. We decided we needed to know what the best Eggs Benedicts on the planet were. I'm still on that quest. If I go to a restaurant for breakfast, which I seldom do. Oh, remember going to restaurants, guys? And I'm almost at that point where I'm like, I would almost sit inside right now. And scientifically speaking, yeah, I'm vaccinated. Anybody who's vaccinated, we can sit inside for a restaurant, should be fine. Johnson & Johnson, there's a pretty good chance you actually get the COVID if somebody else in there has COVID, but you're not going to get sick from it. That's the thing. But at this point, and I was telling everybody, get whatever vaccine you can get. At this point, folks, get the Pfizer or get the Moderna if you haven't been vaccinated yet. If you have that choice in the country in which you abide. You may feel outraged after watching the Pillow Dudes rally. Yeah, I did. So yesterday, unfortunately, busy most of the day, and also not well. But later in the day, I felt much better. Yesterday was turning around. Thank you, Kimchi. Yeah, it was. It's not diverticulitis. Is not only it can be excruciating, but then it's also like you just that like. Have you ever gone into a doctor's office and just be like, yeah, I just feel. That's how diverticulitis makes you feel. Oh God, I've never even been to Waffle House, but I would eat the fuck out of Waffle House right now.
Milligrams of caffeine.
Yep.
We know.
These guys are going to be on the table.
So let's see how this goes. This was an invention I had.
I don't know what that means. These guys are going to be on the table. Oh, maybe dancing on the table. Okay. You know what? I have no problem with that whatsoever. I would pay a little bit of money to see that. I mean, like if there was a nickel around or whatever, but I'm not going to. Anyway.
Like 3 years ago. Why don't they just put caffeine in regular water and bottle it? It would be gold. I never drink water, but I'll drink water if there's caffeine in it.
I have like 5 of those. How many inventions do you have where you're like, I would be a billionaire if I just had done what clearly they've made a lot of money
I have a lot of those inventions. Like someone should do. Yeah, wouldn't that be? Would you pay for that? How much would you?
on?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any inventions? Anybody have some $1 million ideas they'd like to share here? I have some. I put them in my phone.
I've done.
I've had a couple.
Oh, what? I've got two or three wonderful ideas for apps, but I'm 51, so I can't remember what they are. But I'm always like, my kid is a developer, and so I'm always like, hey, would this be hard to do? And he's like, well, it wouldn't be hard to do, but you'd have to do it. And I'm like, that's always.
Of those. One of them was, you remember?
We don't have a Waffle House anywhere near us.
Dr. Pimple.
Guys, is she pretty? And I'm talking about Pete. Is Pete pretty? Wait, what just happened? I just got a. Oh, never mind. You guys can't see what I saw.
Popper. There's a Dr. Pimple.
I invented savings to checking when I was 4. Smart, Kimchi. I'm going to wait for that to come out, and then I'm going to use it.
Popper toy, and I
spent an evening writing Stairway to Heaven. It's a true story. Sat down at the piano, and I'm like, oh, I like that. That's a great chord. Yeah, no, and we're going to lead into it with this? Yeah, and then the next morning I went out and played it again. I'm like, there's a lady who knows. Okay. I know.
Thought my daughter and I had both thought of it. And
there's a toy that you pop fake zits?
Yes, it's so gross, but people buy it.
All right.
That's a good idea.
Wow.
And there you have it. Brilliance for 2 minutes on Fox and Friends. We're glad you are here. Stick with us for all 4 hours. It's going to be a good time.
No.
Speaking of 4, there are still 4 months to go in this fiscal year.
Okay, but what are we... Oh, border surge. We're back at the border surge. I can see the Chiron. You guys can see part of it. Okay. Border surge grows at alarming rate under Biden. Okay, now we can, by the way, when did that border surge start? Started when things started to get better with coronavirus. Remember, it took a huge dive. 2019, outrageous, but nobody was talking about it. Because why? Because Trump is fixing it. He's fixing it. And then coronavirus happened, and then coronavirus has been abating, and then the border surge is going back on. And then, towards the end of Trump's regime, you had all the Republicans saying, oh, the border's going to be open under Biden. Plus, things are really, really bad in the Triangle countries and elsewhere.
Yet, migrant crossings, get this, they have already hit a 10-year high. So
they were higher longer than 10 years ago.
4 months to go. We're already at a 10-year high of the amount of encounters at the southern border. I think we have the number.
Nowhere near 2,000 yet. 2000, the year 2000.
Nearly a million. And again, guys, this is just in.
Right. And we have 9.3 million open jobs in this country right now. Let's just round it up to the nearest 50 million. We have 50 million open jobs in this country right now. We need people. Kevin, on the Pillow Dude first went on stage, he yelled because Fox didn't even bother to go. He just said just a continuation of cancel culture. Yeah, all the conservatives. First off, you got Salt and Pepper out there yelling about how Fox News is terrible. And then you've got Mike Lindell yelling about how Fox News is not covering his private rally.
Counters. Doesn't mean it counts.
Critical race theory, by the way, great article. Okay, that's all I can say about that because I've forgotten who wrote the article. Basically, critical race theory and all these parents being upset about it in New York. This is an AstroTurf campaign. So this is Republican money behind creating outrage, and you get these websites made by concerned parents. I did read that article last night, and I wonder if I can look it up quickly. Hold on, guys, because this is an article that is worth reading. How can I live? Hold on, let me look up. This is Brooke Binkowski, who used to work for Snopes and now works for trutherfiction.com. I'd call her a friend. She's friendly. She posted something about an article. Give me a second here. So follow Brooke Binkowski. If you want to know kind of what's really going on, she's a fact checker who also posts interesting articles about white supremacy. She covers the San Diego area pretty well. But basically, an astroturfing campaign. You have grassroots campaigns. This is real Americans coming up with political issues. And, this is a guy who owns a small business and the government's forcing him to, I don't know, check his water supply or whatever. And, they're canceling me. And so a bunch of other people are like, I also am forced to have a clean water supply at my business. And we don't want that. Here we go. This is what it is. Vice, of course. So Vice.com did an article. This is critical race theory. It's an astroturfing campaign. When you have fake grassroots campaigns, those are called astroturfing campaigns because it's fake grass, which I think is a brilliant name for it because astroturf. So Rick Berman is, I'll tell you exactly what they say. An infamous right-wing lobbyist whose organizations have been accused of several astroturfing campaigns, also known as Dr. Evil in the biz. This is Rick Berman right here. He's a former labor management attorney in restaurant industry who works for the food, alcohol, beverage, tobacco industries, Cracker Barrel, Hooters, International House of Pancakes. We were just talking about Waffle House. Olive Garden, Outback Steakhouse, blah, blah, blah. Wendy's, nothing but evil. I haven't tried that new Wendy's chicken sandwich. We were talking about some Wendy's sandwich with a pretzel bun. People want to see that. Anyway, so go to Vice.com and check out this astroturfing campaign that will get to the bottom of why everyone is talking about CRT, critical race theory, which I've looked into, and as far as I can see, it's history. But there are, it's not really a thing, as far as I can tell, but there are elements of it that might suggest, hey, we have a racist society and we need to do things to overcome that. Here's how we know we have a racist society. Remember like 10 days ago when everyone was like, what? There was a racial massacre 100 years ago in Tucson? I don't think so, because I never learned about that in school. Anyway, this is an astroturfing campaign is what it comes down to. Let's go back to Fox and Friends.
Every person who's attempted to cross or has crossed the border, a staggering number.
That's right. Think about it. So last May, we had 20,000.
Okay.
This May, we have 100.
During coronavirus. By the way, so this May, she's going to say probably around 170,000. I forget the exact figure. Let's just say 178 and see what she says. Of those, somewhere between 110 and 120,000 were immediately expelled. You're not coming in. That's what we do. We don't just let everybody in. The borders are not open. So don't tell people that the borders are open, or otherwise people might think that the borders are, judges, open. Thank you, guys. I didn't know where to go with that.
80,000, 180,000.
Okay, so 180,000.
Is the size of a really good-sized Wisconsin city every single month.
180,000 is the size of a really good-sized Wisconsin city. Now I know, from my vast experience in Oshkosh, let's just see how I'm guessing Oshkosh is bigger. But in my mind, she said a really good-sized Wisconsin city, and immediately I went to Oshkosh in my brain. Hold on, we're going to look up the population of Oshkosh. Oshkosh, bagosh, population. Okay, here it comes. I thought Oshkosh was 2 words. It's 1. Okay, 67,000. So it's almost triple the size of a good-sized Wisconsin. What's a good-sized Wisconsin city? And why is that a different good size than other states? Like, how big is Albany? That seems like a good size to me. Not that I've ever been there. And so Wisconsin. Hold on. Let's find out. Let's just do Wisconsin. We're going to bring this over here so you guys can play along too. Wisconsin population by city. Okay? So we'll look. There are no. Green Bay is 104,000. Madison is 263. So somewhere between Madison and Green Bay, there's a mythical Wisconsin city that's a good size. Right now, there's no good size cities. Green Bay, come on. By the way, I have always loved that Green Bay has an NFL team. And the reason that they do is because the people of the city own it. If it was owned by a corporation, they would have been out of Green Bay 40 years ago. I love that.
And you're right, it doesn't count the gotaways. And the gotaways are even worse because the gotaways are the hardcore criminals who...
They're calling them the gotaways. They're all hardcore criminals. The people that don't get arrested and taken in by Customs and Border Patrol. Yes, there's always some of those. Yeah. Under the Trump regime, under the current administration, there's always gotaways. Gotaways? The gotaways. That sounds like a teenage novel from the late 1980s, like a sequel to The Outsiders.
Don't want to get turned into the Border Patrol and then taken by DHS to all these states who I suspect are states where it would benefit the Democrats if there might be some voters there who...
No, these people are not voting. These people don't get to vote. There's no official way to make these people voters unless they're technically refugees, which is a very different process. Now, there are ideas about, hey, we should make these people citizens eventually because they're responsible for over half of our agriculture in the country, and we tend to eat our agriculture. So without them, America suffers shortages in food, and shortages in food are not a good thing, especially when your next segment is going to be about how inflation is rampant. I don't know if it is or not, but we'll see.
Who might vote Democrat into the future. So,
and as you point out, that's a 10-year high with 4 months yet to go. So what's the practical effect? What's the practical effect of almost 1 million people crossing in a fiscal year? Well, Marsha Morgan, she's a property owner along the border, and she describes the impact of this border crisis. Listen.
when this first started occurring, they would come in through our property, which is definitely posted.
She's in New Hampshire.
No trespassing, and they would camp out here.
Oh, are there no trespassing signs in Spanish, I hope?
On our property and trashing our property, throwing clothing.
Property? She's in Texas.
Just wherever, they chose to do so. Our ranchers are having issues as well with their fences being cut, and, their livestock and wildlife are escaping, and that...
Yeah, don't cut the fences. All you gotaways, now I want to go on vacation. Don't cut the fences, okay?
That's the...
There, problem solved. You're welcome, America.
These people's livelihoods. Our law enforcement is here, and they're doing what they can with the powers that they have. One told me 2 days ago that it was as if he had a screwdriver when he needed a wrench. We need to let, all of our agents do their jobs and quit holding them back. And this Biden administration has just got to step up and do something.
Wait, Biden is doing a press conference, right? Oh, because he's in England. He's up early. Let's jump over to the Biden press conference. Let's go live. Let's go live, kids. Hold on. It's got to be somewhere, right? Hold on. Let's go to the guide and see if this actually works. So let's go to MSNBC and see what they're covering. There we go.
Climate.
Okay, we had volume a second ago. Okay, I don't know what's happening, guys. Hold on. I don't know if they lost volume or what's going on. Let's go to the CNN. See if they are broadcasting this live.
With autocrats, autocratic governments around the world, as whether.
Okay, so it was the broadcast itself. See, so this is supposed to be recording for me. Fareed Zakaria, I just record all the shows, and it's just not. So thanks, Sling TV. I was going to go back on this. We can't. Again, do not get Sling TV.
Democracies can compete with them.
Okay, this is audio on their end. This is not CNN's fault. This is audio coming through from the conference. It's apparently run by MyPillow.
And I think how we act and whether we pull together is...
Yeah, Laura Trump said something. Was that today? I just saw very quickly on Twitter saying that everyone has to arm themselves or something. I think she said that. Is that what you're talking about, Caroline? There's no agenda here, folks. If I see something in the chat room and I'm like, hey, we should check that out, then maybe we will. If we can. If Sling TV allows it. But we should have Judge Janine from last night recorded. We can watch the Laura Trump interview.
Is going to look back 15 years from now and say, did they step up? Are democracies as relevant and as powerful as they have been?
Okay. So the audio keeps going in and out. That's from the conference itself, guys. Oh, this is so Sunday morning spilling Covfefe. Okay, let's do this. I don't know what to do. I was hoping my brain would suggest something by the end of it. Okay, let's jump ahead here. Let's go right to live. Maybe they fixed the issue.
I'm satisfied.
There we go. And it's gone.
Questions? The cited a variety of fronts on China, everything from human rights, Taiwan. What do you think China needs to do to ease tensions?
I think China has to start to act in terms of international norms on human rights and transparency. Transparency matters.
By the way, so the audio sucks. Biden was calling for transparency from China last February. We need to get to the bottom of the coronavirus. China has to open things up. If I was president, I would force them to open. Can we have them open? At the same time that Trump was praising Chinese President Xi for his transparency. And now, remember, we're outraged about the origins of the coronavirus. Or as Trump would say, the oranges of the coronavirus. And they could have come from, we have a history of scurvy. That's got something to do with oranges. Coronavirus could just be a derivative of scurvy? We don't know. We just don't know. Remember, there's a whole branch of oranges called mandarin. Coincidence? I think so. There's no audio coming out of here, folks. Let's jump away from this. We'll go to Judge. We'll go see what the judge had to say with Lara last night. Should be here somewhere. And it looks like, oh, for the love of God. Okay, so now Maria Braga is recording, so we could watch that. There's Water's World. No, that's not what I want. Hold on, guys. I should have Judge... Why? Why are you doing that? Nope, that's not what I wanted. That's Sling TV is so bad. This is hurting me. And it's not just the diverticulitis. This is hurting my brain to have to deal with, oh, I'll click to the arrow, and the arrow will take us in that direction. No. Not the way. Maybe he just keeps swearing. He's doing a rap. So maybe we'll come back to Joe Biden. It should be recording. It says that it's recording. It's apparently not recording. Nope. Okay, hold on. We're going to... Oh, I can't make it silent.
Now, madam, is the impact on our schools as our schools open up for the first time after the pandemic.
A lot of schools are already open.
And I don't give a damn what the reason is for their coming here, and
she doesn't give a damn about anything. If you notice that, she doesn't have any dams to give.
Neither should you. It's nothing but a ruse to prevent you from answering the harder question. If you actually go to the border, the press will join you, and they will see the disaster.
The press has been to the border many, many times. Remember? There was Ted Cruz in the bushes. The press was there. But here's the thing. Most Americans, they're just fine. It is not a huge issue for the vast majority of Americans. What's going on at the border? It's just not. Sorry. Sorry, says the immigrant. Hey, Rich. Okay, I'm trying to get her to play now, and I can't, so let's just jump ahead. Oh, here we go. Here's Lara. Let's see what not future Senator Lara Trump. She's got something to say about the failed diplomacy tour.
And much more. Fox News contributor Laura Trump. All right, good evening, Laura. You know what I find incredible is that the argument...
They can take 3 bottles of wine and put it into one box. How do they do that? That doesn't even make fiscal sense. I find that incredible. Large Trump, it's your turn.
Argument that they're making that the border is closed, that Mayorkas is saying that the
night, Caroline. Sleep well.
Border is closed. If they actually go to the border, the press will follow them, and they'll find out that the border's wide open. Do you think that's one of the reasons she won't go?
But it's not. There's a wall there, remember? There's 500 miles of wall, and the wall is completely effective, and you can't just take a toddler and drop them over the wall. Oh. Remember the wall? You can't climb it. Remember? The wall, and this has to do with climate change. That you can't climb the wall. I believe, scientifically speaking. I'm not a sciencer, so but I've read. So Trump said the best climbers in the world, mountain climbers. They took pieces of the wall, for some reason, to the mountain climbers, and they had a mountain climbing championship with this piece of the wall that they brought from the border to the mountain climbers. I'm going to say in Kentucky, I don't know. But somewhere there was a mountain climbing championships, and none of the mountain climbers could climb the wall. This is a true story that Trump told. It's true that Trump told the story. There's no truth whatsoever to the story. Somebody went out and found a whole bunch of actual mountain climbers, and all of these professional mountain climbers, because it's a thing. There are professional mountain climbers. All of them had no idea what Trump was talking about with this whole professional mountain climbers competition to climb the wall. Well, put a rope up there or just shimmy up.
Oh, without a doubt. It is the exact reason that they won't go. They have just said, well, the border's closed, as though that is enough to satisfy Americans. Like that is enough to satisfy the people that actually live on the southern border and are dealing with this situation every single day. It is insulting. It is embarrassing. This is a woman who thinks she can cackle her way.
I don't think, first off, nobody cackles their way unless they're in the Wizard of Oz. Secondly, I don't remember Kamala saying that the border was closed. She said repeatedly, do not come, do not come. I don't remember her saying that the border was closed. I don't remember anyone saying that the border's closed. Of course, people can still come in through the border legally, and by the way, remember, amnesty, completely legal process. You come across at a port of entry, you turn yourself in, now you're part of the amnesty program. Completely legal, 100% legal.
Out of a tough question, it is absolutely ridiculous. She's clearly, Judge, in over her head. She had one job assigned to her to address the crisis at...
She's had multiple jobs assigned to her. There are many things in which she's in charge of. Getting people to take the vaccine, for instance, also one of her charges. So she doesn't just have one job. How can you... See, on one side, well, they're on the same side. On many sides, you've got people on Fox News and Newsmax, etc., screaming that she has so many jobs. But Jared Kushner solving the Middle East crisis and opium, not a problem. He can handle it. And he did, right? There's peace in the Middle East. Right? I haven't watched the news much lately.
The southern border. Not only has she not addressed it, it has gotten significantly worse. Crossings at our southern border are up 674% this year. This is
from
a woman that needs to get down to the southern border and address this problem. Otherwise, it is going to be a complete and total disaster for...
Do you want her to build a wall or something that people can just climb over or go around?
The future of America.
You know what I don't understand is she had to know
everything. I don't understand really anything. Just quick history of the wall here. Trump said originally it's got to go over the entire border, all 2,100 miles or whatever we have, 1,900 miles, something close to 2,000 miles. But of course we have some natural barriers in there. Then it became 1,000 miles. And then eventually it was, we're almost done. We're going to do 500 miles. We're almost done. We would have had it done. It's just, they literally kept changing the goalposts, and the goalposts are made out of the wall. Go ahead.
That she was going to be asked once she made this first big trip as vice president out of the United States. She knew that she was going to be asked, when are you going to visit the southern border? She didn't have an answer to the question. She wasn't prepared.
I also don't understand that. I don't know why this is being handled so, and I know some of you are fans, horribly by Kamala Harris. Her answer to, I believe it was Lester Holt on the Today Show, or whatever the NBC version of the Today Show is called, where she said, I haven't been to the border. I also haven't been to Europe. And then, the cackling. I'm sorry, guys, the optics on that were absolutely terrible. Are things being done to address what's going on at the southern border? Yes, of course. Is Kamala Harris handling this well? No. Really, really poorly. And I worry that she will be the Democratic candidate in 2024. And if she is, she will lose. Okay, I know. No. I told you guys, without actually having a live stream at the time, I told you guys that Hillary would lose. I didn't want her to lose. I didn't want Donald Trump to be elected. But that's what I saw coming. And in that case, I was right. I told you guys this time that Biden would win by about 4%, and I was right. I even picked the states that would swing for Trump last time. Kamala Harris, I know, maybe things will turn around. There's a long time, 3.5 years. So far, she has been brutally bad. She's really, really bad at maybe not doing her job, because these things are not her job, but in coming out and being an effective presence to the American public. Horrible. And I'm sure she's lovely. And when she sits in the Senate and she prosecutes a case, yeah, you go, girl. She's doing a fantastic job at that. But in terms of being a vice president so far, like a D minus. No, an F. She's failing. I know. Sorry, guys. You can tune out right now. Again, this is just Spilling Covfefe. This is not an official broadcast like we have official broadcasts. If you disagree with me, please let me know in the chat. I don't think anyone's watching anymore. Once you start criticizing a Democrat, people tune out. They don't want to hear it. She can do much better. She's capable of being much, much better than this. But she's loading the right wing up with ammunition. And we got to stop that.
I mean, she is in over her head.
She's not, though. She's got a tremendous brain in that head.
Did she not?
Deidre, my one friend, is still here, of course.
I think, I mean, are they so arrogant that they don't think they even have to answer questions?
I don't know what?
I think that's part of it, truthfully. They know that the mainstream media has been carrying their water for years now. They know that they ask Joe Biden, my goodness, what flavor ice cream he has when we have all sorts of very important questions that the American people would like answered. So,
well, he was eating ice cream at the time at an ice cream store called Honey Buckets or something. It wasn't Honey Bucket, the Honey Pot. I think they had the honey. Whatever it was, he went to a local small business in Ohio and ordered himself an ice cream. And then there were very serious questions about the border, etc. But yeah, someone did ask him, what flavor of ice cream is that?
So I guess she assumed that she could just skirt by without doing anything. I think she knew she was not prepared for this, though, long before this moment. Don't forget, Judge, this is a woman that dropped out of the Democrat primaries before her state of California even voted. She was polling at 2%. She dropped out before Marianne Williamson even did.
What she did in dropping out was really smart because she was millions of dollars in the hole. That was smart. That wasn't just because... I don't know, what is the reason she's going to say?
She knew that she could not handle this job, and so...
No, it wasn't that she knew she couldn't handle the job. She knew that she wasn't pulling well enough to win, and she was just sinking money into a tremendous hole. And there may have been negotiations at the time between her and the Biden campaign, and her and Bernie's campaign, or who knows. You drop out now, I will seriously consider you for VP.
So then she becomes vice president. She's told to deal with the crisis on the border. She thinks she can just laugh it off. It is embarrassing.
Well, she's not laughing it off. Yeah, again, terrible optics on that, but she did actually travel to the countries. Unless we can solve the root cause, we're not going to stop this.
Well, you know, one of the, I'd like you to listen to some sound. You had referenced in your answer, you know, people who are at the southern border thinking that they don't matter anymore. Let's take a listen to this sound.
Okay. Is it going to be birds? Like, what's the sound? It's not a sound bite. It's just a sound. Let's listen.
2 days ago, I sat here and waited.
Oh, it's the same lady. We were just watching her on Fox and Friends. It's the one lady who has an issue. It's not. The people living on the border are having to deal with this, and it is an affliction. I get it.
And I actually saw them cross the river, and I knew they were heading directly to my gate to cross through my property. That was the most disgusting feeling I have ever felt in my life.
Okay. I can't relate. I can't relate to people opening my gate, my riverfront gate, to cross through my property to a better life. But that may feel disgusting. I don't know. But yeah, that's your property. I get it. It's good. I mean, it's bad, but okay. And that's that. That's the sound we were listening to?
You know, talk about feeling trespassed on. I mean, these people...
Well, literally, yes.
The borders have no security. The sheriffs have been talking for months, for years, actually, about the fact that they're being overrun, that their fences are being broken.
Really? For years? Because didn't we just have another president? And how is this not his responsibility?
That there's all kinds of garbage as they come along the border. I mean, what do we say to people at the southern border who feel like they're not even part of a country anymore?
I think I know where this is going to go.
Yeah, and what about the rancher who found a group of young children who had slept overnight on his ranch? I think there was an 11-month-old baby there, 5-year-old, a 2-year-old. The visual and the pictures and images we get of the 3-year-old being dropped down over a wall, the 5-year-old standing out.
Over the wall? You know, that wall that keeps everybody out. The 3-year-old. Can they not hear what they're saying?
Crying in the middle of nowhere. This is horrifying stuff. And you know what? It must be so insulting to the folks that actually work on the southern border, to our border patrol
Why
agents,
didn't Trump build a better river? That's my question. That's not a river. That's a puddle that has a flow to it.
ICE agents, to the people whose jobs it has been for so long to deal with this, it's like they're being made a mockery of by our very own president.
Yes.
By God, building that joke of a river. Rio Grande. Come on, it's not a grande. It's more like a small or a tall or whatever they call it at Starbucks. I don't know the Starbucks coffee sizes.
And Vice President, shame.
A venti. But I know that means 20. So what's the small? Guys, what's the small at Starbucks called? I'll go back and I'll do that joke again. Later, I'll have another broadcast. And it'll be like, oh yeah, that's not a grande. That's not the Rio Grande. That's the Rio. And then no one's watching.
On them, it is absolutely disgusting and disgraceful to see. And I don't know what you tell the people that live at the southern border. I guess they better.
Oh, well then thank God that you're involved in politics, since you don't know what to say either. Well, you answered the question at least. Maybe if you could laugh it off, that would also help.
Better arm up and get guns and be ready.
Let's go back and listen to that. This is her answer.
The people that live at the southern border. I guess they better
know.
Disgusting and disgraceful to see. And I don't know what you tell the people that live at the southern border. I guess they better arm up and get guns and be ready. And maybe they're going to have to start taking matters into their own hands.
I see. So shoot the children. Shoot the 6-month-old. Shoot the 3-year-old who was dropped over the wall. Makes perfect sense. That'll teach them. Jesus Christ. Or allow them to walk through your property, call the Border Patrol or the effective agency and say, hey, these people need to be helped. These people are fleeing their country. These people just walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. Some of them are havering.
It should never happen. These people should never make this dangerous journey here. It's bad for Americans. It's bad for the migrants. It is bad all around.
Yeah, so how about we deal with the root cause? I don't know. Maybe because someone could fly down to Guatemala and have a conversation with them. I don't know what to tell them, but maybe they should get guns. That'll fix everything. Because you know the drug cartel can't fire their guns.
Right, and we haven't even mentioned the drugs that are coming across, the drug cartels, the transnational cartels. But, you know...
I just did, and I'm part of we at this point.
No, this is a vice president who is a woman. You and I...
That is true. The judge had said something factual, so heads up, everybody. Things are changing.
I both want women to succeed, but it looks so much like the woman is...
They do not want her to succeed. That is an absolute lie.
Is in over her head. You know, even in my open, I wanted to say, put on your big girl pants and stop with...
I don't think that's a thing.
The giggling. Stop looking like you don't know how to...
It's cackling.
Answer a question. What would you recommend she do?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe she should arm up.
Oh, well, I have a lot of recommendations. I don't know that I could say.
No, you do not. You were just asked what she should say, and you had no idea. Your response was get a gun.
say them on television, quite frankly. But it is really sad. And it's this sort of, we knew that Joe Biden was going to pick a woman as his running mate because all they do is virtue signal on the left. And this is the problem.
No, also because he said he was going to pick a woman of color. But that's how we knew, actually.
When that is your MO, when you actually don't care about someone's qualifications, you don't care about their preparedness.
That's true, though. She's got a good point. They both want to support women, and it is impossible for a woman of color to have the qualifications to be vice president. So well said, Lara Trump.
For a job.
You know, the qualifications to be vice president, which would include, well, you got to be 35. Oh, you got to be an American citizen. That's it. Those are the qualifications to be vice president.
It's terrible for women all around. I mean, gosh, of course we could have a woman president. Of course a woman can be vice president. But let's get a woman that is actually qualified and up to the job.
You were so right, Lara Trump.
And let's get some guns.
Thanks so much for being with us tonight. And next, free to kill? How one rogue judge's reckless bail decisions led to an innocent father being killed.
Oh, I hate
that
those
story.
Stories. Yeah, we don't want that story. Let's go back and see if Joey Biden has anything to say that's audible. We'll try Fareed again. And watch.
Or whether it was an experiment gone awry in a laboratory.
Oh, good.
It's important to know the answer to that because we
going to go back on this because they're talking about the virus.
Whether or not, I have not reached a conclusion because our intelligence community is not certain yet.
Here we go.
What colleagues think there's things they think they could improve that they want it, but I'm satisfied. Steve Holland, Reuters.
The communique cited a variety of fronts on China, everything from human rights, the origin of the COVID virus, Taiwan. What do you think China needs to do to ease tensions?
I think China has to start to act more responsibly in terms of international norms on human rights and transparency. Transparency matters across the board. And I think the idea that, for example, one of the things I raised and others raised, I wasn't the only one who raised this at the G7, is that we don't know, we haven't had access to the laboratories to determine whether or not, I have not reached a conclusion because our intelligence community is not certain yet, whether or not this was a consequence of from the marketplace of a bat and interfacing with animals in the environment that caused this COVID-19, or whether it was an experiment gone awry in a laboratory. It's important to know the answer to that because we have to have access. We have to build a system whereby we can know when we see another lack of transparency might produce another another pandemic. We have to have access. The world has to have access. So we're trying to figure out at the G7 whether we could put together an international basis upon which we could have a bottom line with what the transparency accounted for.
And you mentioned that the argument behind the scenes that you had.
So that was Trump back in 2020 praising China for its transparency.
Had not mentioned China in 3 years in one of these communiques. What did you argue behind the scenes to try to bring people to the point where they got?
To answer that question, there's no way to answer without sounding self-serving. Let me just say this. I just laid out what I thought.
Well, if there's no way to answer it without sounding self-serving, we need to get Trump on this. That's his specialty.
Was the need for us to be consistent to protect our economies and to see to it that other struggling economies who needed help got the help and were not held captive by other nations. But you might ask that to others. I'm not trying to be a wise guy, but and Wall Street Journal, Andrew.
As you said, the G7 countries committed to send 1 billion coronavirus doses overseas. But the World Health Organization says 11 billion doses are needed.
Yes.
How are you going to bridge that gap? Will the U.S. commit to send additional doses overseas? And given that gap, is it actually realistic to end the pandemic by 2022?
It is. It may take slightly longer worldwide, but the United States is going to continue. I think there's a possibility over 2022, going into 2023, that we would be able to be in a position to provide another billion, us. But that's not done yet. I've been very careful as I've dealt with this pandemic to tell you what I know and say what I thought could be done. And when I've announced it, I've gone and done it. What I don't want to do is be getting too far ahead and suggesting that we can do things and I can do things, the United States can do things that I don't have done yet. So there was a clear consensus among all our colleagues at the G7 that this wasn't the end. We were going to stay at it until we were able to provide for the needs of the whole world in terms, because look, it's not just the right thing to do, and from a how can I say it, from a moral standpoint, but it is also the correct thing to do in terms of our own health, our own security. You can't build a wall high enough to keep out new strains. You can't do that. And so I think this is going to be a constant project for a long time. And there may be other pandemics. Again, setting up a system whereby we can detect before it gets out of control a pandemic that may be on the horizon, a virus, is important. So we are not going to, as long as there's nations in need of being able to be vaccinated, we in fact, not only that, we've been engaged in helping, which I've made clear, and most of my colleagues understood it. I mean, no, they understood it, knew it from trying it themselves. This is a gigantic logistical effort. It's one thing to send nation X number, Y number of vaccines. Another thing to have the people that can actually get it in somebody's arm. And so we are also providing the ability for other countries to manufacture their vaccines. We've all agreed on that. India has the capacity to do that. They don't have the material capacity thus far to do the manufacturing, but there's a lot going on to provide, not only to, quote, give vaccines, but to provide the ability of the countries in question to produce their own vaccines. I'm not going to answer it. No, I'm joking. Last question. Peter Alexander, NBC News.
Thank you very much. About Vladimir Putin and your meeting this week, as you're well aware, the U.S. has been slapping sanctions on Russia for years for its malign activities, and Russia has not stopped. So what specifically will you do differently to change Vladimir Putin's behavior?
Well, first of all, there's no guarantee you can change a person's behavior or the behavior of his country. Autocrats have enormous power. They don't have to answer to a public. And the fact is that it may very well be, if I respond in kind, which I will, that it doesn't dissuade him. He wants to keep going. But I think that we're going to be moving in a direction where Russia has its own dilemmas, let us say. Dealing with its economy, dealing with COVID, and dealing with not only the United States but Europe writ large and the Middle East. And so there's a lot going on where we could work together with Russia. For example, in Libya, we should be opening up the passes to be able to go through and provide food assistance and vital assistance to a population that's in real trouble. I think I'm going to try very much hard to. It is. And by the way, there's places where I shouldn't be starting off and negotiating in public here, but let me say it this way: Russia has engaged in activities which we believe are contrary to international norms, but they have also bitten off some real problems they're going to have trouble chewing on. And for example, the rebuilding of Syria, of Libya, they're there. And as long as they're there without the ability to bring about some order in the region, and you can't do that very well without providing for the basic economic needs of people. So I'm hopeful that we can find an accommodation where we can save the lives of people for example, in Libya, consistent with the interest of maybe for different reasons, but reached for the same reason, the same result.
I want to ask you about a comment that Vladimir Putin said today, but why do you think he hasn't changed his behavior in spite of everything the U.S. has done to this point?
He's Vladimir Putin. I'm not going to get into much more than that because I've got to sit down with him, and I'll be happy to talk after that. But
what he said to them, just to conclude, today he said that Russia would be ready to hand over cyber criminals to the United States if the U.S. would do the same to Russia. And an agreement came out of this meeting coming up. So are you open to that kind of a trade with Vladimir Putin?
Yes, I'm open to, if there's crimes committed against Russia, that in fact and the people committing those crimes being harbored in the United States, I'm committed to holding them accountable. And I heard that. I was told as I was flying here that he said that. I think that's potentially a good sign and progress. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
He only took questions for like 45 minutes. Why won't Biden answer the questions of the press? Okay, speaking of questions, I'm done. Not really a question. I got to get my day going here. So everybody, thanks for joining me. And again, I apologize that I was gone for, I think, a week. I wasn't gone. I was right here, but I wasn't in game shape. So everybody have a great day. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to broadcast later today, but I do have the Trump speech from yesterday at the MyPillow Loserpalooza. So we are going to take a look at that at some point. If not today, then tomorrow. And we will go from there. So thanks, everybody, for joining me this morning. It's no big whoop. It's just spilling Covfefe. Good night, sheep. Carolyn's already asleep, probably. Caroline, excuse me. Good night, Joanna. Good night, Deidre. Good night, Kimchi. Good night, Phil. Good night, everybody else who's tuned in right now. Or enjoy your day, just depending on where you are on the planet. Maybe you work nights. I don't know. Everybody have a great day, and we will see you next time on the live stream.